Hey guys, back again. This is Tuesday again, so I'm going to answer a few questions that were left on my videos, a few comments, try to help you guys out. I'm starting to notice that a lot of the people that are leaving questions are pretty much lap swimmers, so they're trying to get themselves in line and get everything moving. So that's how I'm going to address these questions, is from a lap swimmer perspective. Somebody who may not have the strongest of competitive swimming background, but they're really doing it for recreational purposes or to keep themselves in shape. So there you go. All right, now this first one is from Jake Ortega again. I think I answered one of his last week, but he's asking about the high elbow, low hand technique, which is actually my favorite as far as having a high elbow, keeping a low hand, and that allows you to have a nice long loose stroke. Well, he was asking is, with the elbow raise at the stroke, is it intentional that you lift that elbow up and able to clear your arm through the water, or is it something that just kind of naturally happens with the stroke? Because I think he's having a little bit of trouble with water clearance as far as clearing his arm. Well, it is something intentional that I teach beginning swimmers when they first start out, is that the first thing that breaks the surface on the freestyle stroke is that elbow. You got to pop that elbow up, and then that allows you a nice opportunity to get that hand and everything out of the water. Because I see that a lot. I'm not saying that with Jake that he's that way, but I do see that with beginning swimmers, is that they'll have a tendency to drag their arms, and you see it a lot with butterflies, but you do see it with freestylists as well, having to not quite getting their arm forward. So they're wondering how to actually clear that hand. And he followed up this question with, I guess he spoke with somebody that said that doing this technique actually puts extra strain on the shoulder. In my experience, that's never really been the case, is that it's applied extra strain to your shoulder by having that high elbow, intentional high elbow with low hand. I've never come across it having any kind of shoulder problems that are a direct result from that. So in my experience, no, I wouldn't say that that technique actually has any kind of extra strain on the shoulder. You will find different techniques with the windmill technique, where the hand comes over the top, and the sidewinder technique, where they whip the arms around the side, and the high elbow, low hand. You'll find all different kinds, but I would say the one that probably is the most detrimental to the shoulder would probably be the windmill, I would think, as far as the leverage that comes over the top, but I'm not exactly sure on that. But that's a great question, Jake. I hope that helps you out. All right, well, the next question is from Ajani Duwodu. Hope I'm saying that right. But this question is about arm clearance with butterfly. Just like I talked about in the last section, this swimmer is having a little bit of trouble clearing their arms. And that's a big problem with butterflies. That's probably one of the things that actually drives butterfliers away when they first start doing it, and kids start doing it, and they're like, I hate fly, and they get all upset. And that's usually because they have a hard time getting those arms back forward. Well, there's a couple tricks to it. Number one, I talked about this in several of my videos. Number one, you've got to have fast speed. You got to keep that speed fast. The slower you go with fly, the harder it is to actually get those arms forward. Number two is that you've got to earn it towards the tail end. It's one of those things that's kind of a non-specific, but the stroke actually comes through, but this last part of the stroke needs to be the fastest part of the stroke. So when you come through, you need to be accelerating to allow yourself to whip those arms forward. Also, you need to round the tail end of the stroke just a little bit. It makes it very hard to get those arms forward if you go straight back, and then you have to generate that whip to get them forward again. But if you round that tail end as you come through, it gives you that circular motion to be able to whip them forward again. So there's a couple tricks to it, Johnny. I hope that helps you out, but keep the faith with butterfly, because your body will start to sync up with it the more you swim it. If you only do it once in a while, once a month, and you're like, I hate this because it doesn't work. You know, if you keep yourself in that once a month pattern with it, then it'll last a very long time. But if you practice it a couple times a week, you'll be surprised how your body will adjust to the rhythm. But I hope that helps you, Johnny. Nice question. All right, the next question is from Orly B, and she's having a little bit of a hard time kicking from the hips and keeping the legs straight. And this is a motion that is a little bit difficult for some swimmers to pick up on because they like to run with their legs and different things. I talk about it quite a few times. But it is a motion that to some people it isn't quite as natural as it is to others. That up and down motion from the legs that starts from the hips. So they want to do too many things like with their knees and their feet and everything. So getting that long and actually having that long leg with the up and down motion, it can be a struggle for some swimmers. Well, Orly B, quick fix for this. The best way that I know of to help you identify that motion is to actually use fins. Get some flippers. Get some fins. And it is actually much easier to kick proper with fins than it is to kick with an irregular kick that's got a lot of motion, a lot of bending of the knees and all that kind of stuff. The fins actually help you to lengthen those legs out and kick properly because that's the way they want to work. So it'll kind of help you out, assist you in keeping your legs in the right position. So that's a great question. Thank you, Orly B. I hope that helps. All right, this next question is from Marissa Vigil. And she asked, when you do a flip turn, should you take a breath right before you flip? And the plain and simple answer to that is no. If you're doing competitive swimming, then that's actually a no-no. That's something that you don't want to do because there is so much speed going in and out of the wall. I think I talked about this last week as well. But the biggest thing that will slow you down is breathing, so you don't want to breathe, especially when you've got all of that speed going into the wall. Now, on the flip side of that, if you're just a recreational lap swimmer, then it doesn't really matter if you breathe when you're going into the wall because you're not really racing against the clock. You're really just going for conditioning or finishing your workout or things like that. So if you're a recreational lap swimmer, no. If you are a competitive swimmer, that's a big no-no, and your coach will probably let you know that. So Marissa Vigil, hope that helps you out. Good luck. All right, now the last question is from Jerry Shin, and he's asked me several questions on here. We've been going back and forth quite a bit over the last year or so. But he's asking about the high elbow, low hand again. And what he's asking is, should you do like a fingertip drag drill, which some of you guys probably know, where you keep your elbow high and you kind of drag your fingertips in the water all the way out in front, and it helps you to achieve that relaxed long arm position and get that feel for the water. And it also is a great approach to actually sliding that hand in the water rather than slapping it down or coming over the top and booming it, because bubbles are actually bad. Bubbles are bad when you're swimming freestyle. You don't want to take down any bubbles with your stroke. So when you come through, you've got that high elbow, low hand, and then you can slide that hand underneath the surface of the water, just like you're sliding your hand in a pocket. And that helps to eliminate all of the bubbles. So that's what he's asking is, should you do that, or should you get to the high elbow and then just kind of go for an extension, or should you kind of drag your fingertips? Well, in my experience, I like to actually do the fingertip drag drill with a lot of swimmers because, and I like that technique. I think it's very efficient, I think it's very smooth, and I think that it corrects a lot of potential problems that freestylists have because they'll get really funky with their strokes and doing weird things. But if you've got them doing something, focusing on a particular motion, then it kind of eliminates the other things that they could possibly do that are a distraction or that are improper technique. So I actually really like that drill. So yes, Jerry, what I would say is that have that high elbow, low hand, and you can actually turn the fingertip drag drill into a basic stroke. Now, when you turn it into the stroke, you don't necessarily have to actually drag your fingertips while you're doing the stroke. You can be a little bit more relaxed with that, but the drill is closely related to how a lot of swim coaches try to get their swimmers to swim. So Jerry, I hope that helps you out. You got any other questions, let me know. But everybody else that's out there that's watching this, if you got any questions, just leave me a comment, a question on one of my videos, and I'll answer it as soon as I can. I'll pick out 5 a week that I'll do on video response. So if you're watching for the first time, please subscribe. I'm gonna try to do this every single week and keep you guys up to date. I also got some gigs on Fiverr. If you're not sure what that is, it's where services are offered for $5. That's where I've got some workouts that are posted. You could Skype with me if you wanted to talk to me about your stroke or anything like that. I've got a couple gigs that are on there. So let me know. But I hope everybody's doing well out there, and until next week, take care. Bye guys.